Hi there, didn't see ya. Roscoe here. By popular demand, I'm going to let you in on a little culinary secret. I'm not a qualified chef, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to make tasty food. Why? The tum-tum never lies. By popular demand, chicken, veggie, noodle soup. This is going to be that good that your kids will even eat it. I know, hard to believe those fussy little bastards will put anything other than processed food in their little giblets. It's going to be a very simple recipe. Someone as intellectually challenged as myself can follow. Basic ingredients will be including maybe about a kilo of chopped up chicken, some diced up veg. You can get it as exotic as you like. I'm more of a meat and veg kind of guy, so I stick with the staples, the carrots, the corn, the shallots, all that kind of job. Bit of celery, potatoes, also another good one we can smuggle on the inside, Colombian drug meal style. A bit of cream. We're also going to throw a bit of spice in there. Might get a little bit exotic and put a little bit of all food spice. A little bit of a prop out there to Coles. This is where the magic will be happening. So I'll give you a brief breakdown on what we're using, how we're spudging it together. Spudge, check that out. Urban Dictionary means putting together. The magic will happen in here. Check out this kitchen, isn't it great? I did these myself. Very proud. Splashbacks, about $14 a sheet from Bunnings. Go check them out, they're awesome. Won't be using the slow cooker, just extremely lazy in putting it away, and let's face it, I don't have the cupboard space. We'll be using a pot, a pan, an assortment of utensils, Jeffrey Dahmer style. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? Toodle. Okay, let's go through the utensils that we're going to need for today's cooking challenge. We're going to need a couple of these bad boys. That's right, red and blue. Chopping boards. One for veg, one for meat, so we don't give anyone a bad case of the squirts when preparing our food. Because let's face it, nobody wants a bad bout of food poisoning on a Sunday when we've all got to go to work Monday. It just kind of sucks a bag. You're going to need one of these. A strainer, or I call it, short terms, a clean and jerk. Because let's face it, you ever watch them? They look like they're straining big time. One of those. You'll also need, my personal favourite, a 1980s blender. This is a collector's item. I bought this off eBay for about $16 back in the 80s. It does just about everything that you could possibly want in a blender without the bullshit digital display and having to program. Very simple, 2 dials. So even a muppet like me can work. You'll need one of those. You'll also need a ridiculously sharp chopping bit. Don't touch the business end, or you'll end up with one less digit. We're going to need a fork. A few Kiwi guys out there. Just a fork. You'll get into that shortly. We're going to need a knife to chop the veg. A serial killer knife to chop the meat. Followed by some serial killer tape to keep them quiet. And a corking gun. A corking gun? And a corking gun. Don't ask me, alright, I'm wrong. Alright, that's what we need for now. Oh, and obviously, I'm not going to be cooking anything with my hands, I'll burn the shit out of them. But you'll need a decent sized pan, a couple of handles, a lid, always helpful to stop those 3rd-degree burns to your beautiful, beautiful face, and a pot. This bad boy probably needs to hold anywhere from about 4 to maybe 10 litres of fluid. So a fairly decent one. One that you could almost put in a small child's head, just to give you a bit of an idea. Let's get on it. G'day. Okay, we've got our utensils sorted. Let's go through what we need to make magic happen. You're going to need some of these bad boys. Now I know what you're saying because I'm going to remember what we saw in the comments from last time. Why aren't you chopping up your own veg? Plain and simple, I don't have the time. Look at me, I haven't shaved in months. Don't have the time for this shit. So, you can go to Woolies, you can pick these up relatively cheap. This is a soup kit or a hearty veg mix and a simmer veggie mix. Anything will do, Coles, Woolies, IGA, whatever. This has got everything. This has got corn, this has got celery, this has got chop. This is more adventurous than my weekends, alright? Need 4 of those bad boys. You're going to need some potatoes. Now, I prefer the baby whites. Don't know why, because they're easy for me to chop up with my chubby digits. One of these will make a fair bit. The whole idea is we'll be chopping these up relatively thinly. Chicken. Everyone loves chicken, apart from vegetarians and vegans. Don't go there. Once again, lazy as all shit. Can't even bother brushing my hair. So I'm just going to buy some diced leg fillet. I'm a leg kind of guy, always have been. Big shout out to my wife, who's got an amazing set of legs. Thank you, Kerry. About a kilo's worth of this is you're going to need. I'm making a fairly big batch, so remember, be as liberal as possible. If you want to cut down on this and just have veg, that's absolutely fine. But everyone loves a piece of chicken. Bit of thickened cream. I'm probably going to use about half of this bad boy, so about 150 ml. You can add a little bit more if you want it extra creamy. Not good if people are lactose intolerant, just quietly. And you probably don't want too much of this because it can kind of get a little bit of a milky taste and turn into a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy. Some Vegeta. It's not what you think. Trust me, that was an awkward conversation in the shop. It's basically gourmet stock. Very good. Any veggie stock will do. It doesn't necessarily have to be Vegeta. You're going to need some really risque all-purpose seasoning. Wow, aren't I exotic? Okay, we're going to get international. You're going to need some aromat? Aromat for the South Africans playing at home. They have this shit on toast. Literally just on toast, nothing else but butter. It's basically a corn-based seasoning. You can use salt or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to go to the extremes that I do. It's only because I have a South African wife. You're going to need some extra virgin olive oil. We're in Wanneroo, so we might have a little bit of a trouble there finding some extra virgins, but never fear. There's a Woolworths down the road or a Coles, so that'll help you. And one other thing that you'll also need to grab as well, let me just have a look in the pantry of death. Can't find it. No, found it. Okay, you're going to need some thin Hokkien noodles. Now, we're not going to need the whole packet. Just one satchel, but because I'm making a rather large batch, I might just whack in two, you know, Colombian drug meal style. But we'll see how we go. We need some water, obviously, out of the tap to throw into the pots. And then we're good to go. Let's get the process underway. Okay, let's get on to cooking. I'll tell you what I've done so far. I've put a pot on the boil. I've got two pots happening, but unfortunately I do not have the space on the oven. Damn you home buyers, from when I built this house, I should have got a bigger hot plate. I've got some oil in this pan with a bit of my all-purpose seasoning, you know, because I'm so exotic. I've got me a little doodad for here so I don't burn the shit out of my hands. I'm going to grab the first of the assortments of the chicken. I'm just going to whack that in there. Obviously making sure I don't put the piece of paper in. And that's why I'm not a chef. Let's put that to one side. Don't cook the paper. It tastes like shit. Get in there, get amongst it. Start just, you know, give it a good break up so everyone can see what it is. Get the juices going. Some more virgins. Never thought I'd say that in Wanneroo. Bit more oil, not too much, probably about 2 tablespoons of oil. Now we're going to go again with me other packaged animal. I'm going to whack that in there as well if I can get it open with my chubby little digits. Making sure not to also cook the paper. Top work, dickhead. Let's put that to one side because we're going to recycle that because we recycle responsibly in this household. Give it a good break up, you know, that's right, stir it around like you're trying to find your keys in the bottom of your purse for all you women playing at home. Now, a little bit more olive oil. These aren't going to take very long to cook, probably about 15-20 minutes, and I'm not going to bore you to death with some bullshit commentary for the next 15 or 20. So what we'll do, bit of seasoning in there. I'm on probably about a high temperature. I really just want to cook them all the way through and cook them quickly. I want to try and sear all those juices in. Juice is the good stuff. And being the fact that they're thighs and leg fillets, they will stay moist. Word of the day, kids. Let's crank that heat right up. Alright, so we've got our seasoning, we've got our chicken in there. Let it do its thing. We will time travel forward to when it's done. Oh, mess with veg. Shit. Alright, water is boiling, chicken is going. Let's go. Okay, chicken is pretty much done. We've zapped forward in time about 15 or so minutes, so we can turn the heat right down. Now I want to keep all the juices that I can in here because it's going to add a lot to the stock and the base of my soup. So you'll need a big bowl. It doesn't have to be ceramic, it can be plastic, it can be a cat bowl, I don't really care. Any bowl really that will hold roughly about 1 kilo of chicken plus juice. So I'll put that bad boy in there. Be super careful when you're handling this. It's hotter than the roof of your mouth after an eating a Mrs. Max High straight out of the Bay Marie. It will burn the shit out of you. So if we grab it, let's turn it off. We're transferring all of this to the bowl. Being super careful not to burn the shit out of ourselves. Excuse my dog barking in the background. Oi, Peg, I'm trying to do a cooking show here. Wait! So never work with animals, never work with kids. Okay, so we've got it. So now what I want to do is I've got all the juices, I've got all the chicken. I'm going to whack that in the old noot box just to keep it reasonably cool. It can cool down, it's okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be reheated. It's cooked all the way through. Next step, let's focus on the veg. Okay, chicken's done, stored away. Time to prepare these bad boys. These are the only veggies in principle. Excuse me, I have an itchy nose. Just savagery, I tell you. Always all about hygiene. We'll just put that in the bin over here. Let's rewash our hands. I prefer to use Morning Fresh. Nothing like a little bit of a product endorsement there. We've also got to make sure that we're always clean and tidy. And I don't want to give anyone food poisoning on a Sunday. Much better. Oh, that detergent's really burning my hands. Give it a bit of a wipe down. Let's put that back over there. Now, back to cutting the potatoes before I got an itchy nose. Now, we're chopping these up into fine cubes. Now, I am by no means a chef. But you want to chop these into probably maybe, I don't know, 5mm pieces, half a centimetre, whatever you want to call it, little cubes, 5 by 5 by 5. Reason being is they will take a lot less time to cook all the way through and mush, there's the term of the day, mush, in your blender, your retro 80s blender. We've already chopped up the veg that we bought at Woolies because we're time efficient. So I'll get on to chopping of that. I'm not going to bore you with this shit and watching me trying to cut off my own fingers. Let's get into it. Okay, I've chopped up the potatoes. Took me a while because I have the chopping skills of a shoe. I know, and that's what you reckon, okay? I'm not a chef. I don't have long hair, but I do have a beard. Chopped up the tats, right? We've already got our jive all thinged up. We've got the water boiling. Now, danger, 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 kids. If you are doing this, get your mum and dad to give you a hand, or blokes. I know some of you are useless. Get your wife to watch her. Nothing worse than having third-degree burns on a Sunday, particularly if you have to go to work. All right, so we're going to packet this jive in. Let's just do the old lean on the side of the pot trick, making sure that you are well away from the burny parts. Okay, I usually put one in each, so a soup mix and a simmer veg mix in one. Oh, here's a little FYI, don't whack that bad boy in. That's a little sachet of pasta. Once fully cooked, tastes like shit. Okay, bad boy in there, being super careful not to burn ourselves. Making sure there isn't any more surprise packets of pasta. Really? That amount of pasta is going to be enough? Let's see more pasta on a kid's kindergarten's artwork than whatever. Same deal. Alright, I am making, oh no, party style seasoning. We don't want that either. All I can say is, thank God we're literally boiling it. Make sure that it is clean. Same deal. Pour it in. These pots are about half full of boiling water. Get this bad boy out of here. Let's not do that again. I don't know where the other one is. It kind of feels like a lucky dip, really. Like a skill tester. I've got to try and fish it out before it gets there. Come on, you little bastard. Where are you hiding? Hey! There you go. We don't need those. We'll throw them in the sink. I'll have to clean that up, otherwise my wife will kill me. Okay, lid's back on. Oh, dickhead. Gotta put the potato in. Everyone loves potato. Lid back off. I like to scrape my potato in with a knife, not using my hands. I try not to touch food as much as possible. So we'll just put a little bit of split the taters in half. Being careful not to splash and burn the shit out of oneself. Once again, no one wants a trip to Joondalup Health Campus on a Sunday. God, there's some weirdos down there. Okay, let's get in there. Let's try not to spill shit everywhere all the time. Hopeless success! I didn't burn myself. Happy days. Okay, we'll give that a little bit of a stir. Just make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. Now these both filled with water. I'm going to whack a little bit of salt in there, just a smidge, a midget, a smidget, if that's even a word. Salt. I'm fancy, I use Himalayan rock salt because that's what we had in the cupboard. Give that a couple of twists. Okay, give that done, and we whack them back on. And we're probably going to leave these, I'd say, about 40 minutes. They take a long time, they do have a lot of veg in there. The easiest way to check is just when they start to get soft and mushy, like most of our political leaders. No backbone. I'm joking, they're great blokes and girls. So you want everything to be soft. I particularly test the potatoes and the celery. Very hard. Once they're soft enough, then we can transfer them. We can then put them through the colander, sieve, whatever you want to call it, let them cool down, and then we can blitz the living shit out of them. So let's go backwards in time. Okay, we're good to go. Next step, we'll boil the veg. Now, roughly about 40 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on how much water and how much veg you actually have. Put it in more of a useful term. Women, roughly 2 loads of washing. Or for the men playing at home, it's a load of washing plus folding. And I'm not talking the generic leave it on your couch for 7 to 10 business days. I'm talking like how quickly you would take to fold if your mum and dad were coming around. Gents, if you don't do any chores around the house, roughly 2 games of Modern Warfare. Roughly about 40 minutes. So I've boiled it down. I haven't boiled the bejeebus out of it. I've just made it tender. So what I'm going to need now, colander, or for those people that are scared of aliens, you usually put one of these on your head, wrap a bit of tinfoil around it, happy days. Another bowl. I know you're thinking, where the hell are you getting all these bowls from? I actually have cupboards full of them. What we're going to do is we're going to strain some of it out. Now, wanting to keep some of this, because believe it or not, you've actually just made veggie stock. So we're going to use it a little bit more. So we're going to take both of these, strain them off, let them cool down a touch so I don't melt the living shit out of my 1980s retro blender, and then make magic happen. Stay tuned. Rightio. So we've let this bad boy cool down. It's roughly taken about half an hour or so, because we don't put it in the blender when it's screaming hot like the surface of the sun, because you'll cook it. So what we'll do is we'll take the 80s blender. These things are notoriously deadly. They don't make them anymore because people lose fingers. So we've got to put our big boy pants on. These are my pajamas, by the way, and our adult hats. So we're going to need, for the little transference here, this doodad, same doodad that we used before. We take the lid off. So much easier. Or you can leave the lid on, doesn't really matter, but you've got to then pour it into the spout. And then we take, this is not going to work, is it? Let's just move the blender. Come on, Roscoe. It's not your first rodeo. What do you think I was putting bloody IKEA together? Okay, so we're just shoveling this lovely goop in the bowl hole. It's still a bit warm, so just be mindful we don't want to burn off digits. As you can see, the steamer roller coming off it. Remember how we kept a little bit of the stock, and we're going to be reintroducing that back into it as we blend. So just being mindful of that as well, not to top it up too much. We still need to get some of the Vegeta in. Are you playing at home? And also the stock as well. Now for the stock, I'm going to need a little cup. I'm just going to use a standard cup. I don't know what this transfers into, but it's just a cup. So I'm going to take about a scoop of that. About half a cup, as you can see. Looks like dirty bong water. Tip her in there. Alright, juice is back in. We'll keep that because we're going to use it for the next batch. The Vegetes. Now I like to use roughly a tablespoon, I think these are called, of Vegete in there. Not too much. It's quite salty, but bearing in mind this doesn't really have that much salt in. So about a level spoon, just give it a bit of a quick over. That'll give us, and remember you'll have to add a little bit of salt to the end. I know some of you like the taste of beach, some don't. Thickened cream. Remember what I said about this? Not too much of this stuff. It'll taste like a milkshake, only crunchy. So a dash. About a dash. We'll need some more of that later because we're going to have to do probably 2 or 3 trips. Lid goes on. That's weird. I think that's rude at all. Definitely not a chef. Okay. This is the noisy part. Don't do this at 3 o'clock in the morning, kids. It'll freak your neighbours out, plus mum and dad living at home. We're just blending. Back on. I'm going to do this all day. Okay, it's on the highest setting. So you can see that this is absolutely marvellous. I'll pick some photos up and there'll be photos throughout the course of what I'm doing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm then going to, there's still a little bit left in this bowl. I'm going to put some more of the chicken stock in and I'm going to put it back in these pots. Because remember, we're going to have to reintroduce the chicken and also the noodles as well. Let's go forward in time. Okay, this is where we're at, trendsetters. I've got the soup mush, the veggie mush. I've added an additional half a cup of the veggie stock that we have. Now with the rest of the veggie stock, freeze it. Wait for it to cool down, whack it in a freezer, put it in some cold ice cube trays, snap it off, put it in a Ziploc bag. Hey presto, here's some I prepared earlier. Really good trick there. So we've got the veg in there, we've got the cream that we've put in there, the Vegeta that we've got in there. We've got half a cup of each mix, roughly, of the vegetable stock that we've made, plus another half on top, just to give it a little bit more consistency so it doesn't look like green porridge. Because let's face it, if it was a human being, it'd definitely get picked last at the Year 12 ball. Ooh, having flashbacks there. Okay, what we need to do now, need to introduce the chicken, the bok bok. So this is the stuff that we made earlier, right? It's got all the juices in it. It's still got a bit of the old stock in there as well too. There's a little bit of salt in there, not much. So what we're going to do is we're going to power dump that in there. Now, there's a kilo of chicken in there. You don't have to use chicken. You can use any other meat. I like chicken. Chicken tastes nice. You can use goat. You can use lamb. I don't care. Use human. No, don't use humans. I want to go another half a spoon of this. Just half a spoon. Don't want to go too much on there because there is a lot of material in there at the moment. That chicken will also have salt in it as well. Bung that over there. Next step, hockeys. Our international component. I use roughly one of these sleeves if I'm doing a double bag mix. So we'll just squeeze this out. There's a chopping board I cleaned earlier. Not getting paid by the chopping board. Make sure you cut the whole packet instead of just doing a half-assed job like I did. Give it a bit of a tuckle, nick and tuckle. I usually put it all the way out there, but push it out like a piece of cheese, and then just chop it up into, I don't know, 2.5 centimetre chunks, because I'm that kind of guy. I grab it. I don't like long, big noodles in mine. Give it a bit of a brush over. You don't have to use these noodles. You can use whatever noodles you like. Don't mind the old Hakkyounga noodles. It adds a little bit of body. This is going to be a very, very filling soup. So something of this size is going to last my family of 3, probably maybe 2 or 3 meals easy. And relatively cheap. You're looking, let's say 12 to 15 bucks worth of meat. Veg, probably looking, I don't know, say 10 bucks. Maybe a little bit more. Noodles, couple of bucks. So all in all, you're going to have a really good feed. Roughly about $30. You're probably going to have leftovers as well. Now we give this a big stir through. Get all the juices, stir everything up. Get that chicken juice in there. Who doesn't like a good chicken juice? And then we put this on the simmer for about 20 minutes, give or take. So roughly half a load of washing, or 1 game of Modern Warfare if you're playing at home. And there you have it. Very easy, cost-effective way. No one is ever going to complain about this. And if they do, tell them to come see me. I'll come around to the house. I do visits. Not joking, I don't do visits. But yeah, I've tried it on a few kids, and every kid so far has given it the thumbs up, not the thumbs down, so we're doing good. You've got roughly about 15 servings of veg in that bad boy. So basically you're lying to your kids, but it's a good lie, not a bad lie. Stay safe, people. For more cooking tips and ideas, check me out on Roscoe Stand Up Hunter. Peace. Toodles. I'm out.